Hi guys, welcome back. It's been a while. I was gonna post last weekend, but I had Northwestern, so I couldn't. But Northwestern's like a debate tournament hosted by like Northwestern, like the college. Anyways, I honestly have no clue what to make a video about. So this is gonna be like a very short video about basically just like a book review. I was also gonna do a review of Violet Evergarden, but I'm probably gonna like write that down to like organize my thoughts a little bit because I have a lot of thoughts. So yeah, I've written it down. Hold on, let me like put my phone up because it's on my iPad. Actually, like I have. Hold on. Dude, why do I look so chopped? Okay, it's not fun. I have like Goodreads. Okay, so basically the book I'm reviewing is I literally finished it like today, like in the afternoon. Is The Passenger by Cormac McCarthy. So I'm just gonna get into it. Okay. This is so random. I feel like this is such like a random video for me to make. It's okay. It was so good. I gave it 5 stars. It was so freaking good. Oh my god. Like I can tell how he won a Pulitzer for The Road. Okay, I've never read The Road, but like it's so good. Like it's okay. So first of all, his writing style. Like if you read, he has a very distinct writing style. He doesn't use punctuation. Like he uses periods, but I don't think he uses. Does he use commas? I don't remember. But he doesn't use like quotation marks or like apostrophes or like whatever. Okay, he doesn't use punctuation. Okay, I say okay way too much. Like get to the point, girl. So he just has this very distinct writing style, and also he's very blunt writing. He doesn't really include internal thoughts. Like the main character. Okay, first I should probably tell you what this book is about. So basically, the general gist of it is there's this guy named Bobby Western. It's like set in the night. Like actually, I'll just read you like the description. Okay, it says, 1980 past Christian. It is 3 in the morning when Bobby Western zips the jacket of a sweatsuit and plunges from the Coast Guard tender into darkness. His dive light illuminates the sunken jet. 9 bodies still buckled in their seats, hair floating, eyes devoid of speculation. Missing from the crash site are the pilot's flight bag, the plane's black box, and the 10th passenger. But how? A collateral witness to the machinations that can only bring him harm. Western is shadowed in body and spirit by men with badges, by the ghost of his father, inventor of the bomb that melted glass and flesh in Hiroshima, and by his sister, the love and ruin of his soul. Traversing the American South from the garrulous barrooms of New Orleans to an abandoned oil rig off the Florida coast, The Passenger is a breathtaking novel of morality and science, the legacy of sin and the madness that is human consciousness. Basically a salvage diver, and so I think something really interesting about this book. Let me finish with the writing style. So the fact that he doesn't really include internal thoughts like of Bobby or any of the characters, it gives you a certain kind of like detachment from the story. But I actually like that. Like I feel like it kind of adds this like this sort of mysterious vibe, but like the detachment kind of changes like how you view the book, if that makes sense. Also, this is like there's a lot of dialogue in this book. It's like honestly like probably more than half the book's dialogue. Basically it's kind of told through like mini like little like vignettes almost. Basically he like meets up with people and he talks with them and they just talk for like the whole chapter. But it's honestly, if you're not, it's really confusing. Like because he doesn't include any speaker tags. It's not like he said, she said, like Western said. He doesn't do any of that. Okay, so you know when like a new person speaks, you switch the dialogue line. It's like that. It's like only like that. So you kind of have to keep in your mind like who's speaking. You kind of just gotta like flip flop like back and forth in your head, basically. But honestly, he's really good at characterization. Like Bobby has such good characterization where I can pretty much tell like which part he's saying, and the other characters too. Also, like, he talks like people, right? Like, it's very realistic. Like, this is actually how people talk. I'll do like plot. Normally when I like do book ratings, I do it based off of like writing style, characters, plot, and world building if there is any. There's no world building and I just do writing, so I'm just gonna do plot and then characters. So plot wise, I think something really clever he does, he draws you in with like, but it's actually like in action. Like, the premise of the book is interesting, okay? Like, it has like all the makings of like a mystery novel. You're thinking like, oh, there's a missing there's a missing passenger. He's like trying to find the passenger, and while this is happening, he's like getting visits from like the government, and he's like stuff like that. Okay, so it's interesting. You're like, oh, like, is this gonna be like who's the passenger? But it's actually not like that. Like, the mystery of who the passenger actually is almost never addressed. Like, there's maybe like one like chapter dedicated to it, and then it's just dropped. Okay. So something that you think it was supposed to be super exciting is actually not. It's honestly like the plot. Nothing really happens in the plot. There's no goal. Like, Bobby, with this book, it's gonna be spoilers. What kind of spoilers? So basically, his sisters. Well, this is spoilers in case you didn't. Wait, no, this is not spoilers, bro. Oh my god, get to the point. So he's in love with his sister. Okay, like incest type of stuff, and nothing ever happens between them. He's just like in love with his sister. And basically, she's dead, right? So that's very sad. So he's like mourning her. So you would think that they're like also like and I said in the summary, his father made the atomic bomb, or he worked on the atomic bomb. So he's like haunted by like, it's like generational guilt basically. And he also feels like generational, this is like kind of spoilers, he also feels generational guilt because he was like he feels like he was supposed to protect his sister, like that was his purpose in life, but his sister's dead, so he failed his job. So he just feels like very guilty about everything. He's like mourning basically. And so he's like a very static character. Like, this book is not about him trying to get over his grief, because he just stays, if anything, he falls further into his grief. Like, he gets worse. Like, he gets, sadder. So overall, he's a very static character. So the point of this book is not about change. And I just think that's interesting because, like, it has all the premise of, like, a very, like, interesting, like, mystery novel with, like, the potential for, like, self-growth. But McCarthy just doesn't do any of that. And instead, it's seemingly, like, pointless interactions of him, like, Bobby, with various other characters. And him just, like, like the summer said, he's, like, traveling all over the place and stuff like that. So I just thought that was cool. Like, I feel like that's... Like, obviously, it's... Sorry, I thought I heard someone. Okay, anyways. I just think that's, like, such an interesting way to frame, like, what he's going for, like, the moral of his story. I just felt like that was such, like, a really interesting way to frame it. Yeah. So, that's, like, characterization. Or that's, like, plot out of the way, basically. It's kind of, like, a lot of reviews are like, it's boring. Like, what is the point of this? But there is such a huge point, okay, especially with the passenger motif, which I will get into, which is like another reason why I think this book is so good, is like the symbolism. The symbolism is big, bro. Anyways, continuing on, characterization. Bobby is very well characterized. Like, there's just like, it's like subtle too. Like, there's nothing like that screams like definitively shows me like exactly who he is as a person. It's just like the subtle like build up of his character that helps, like I said before, like I can recognize his dialogue, even with the speaker text, because he talks in such a nuanced way that it's obvious. And all his characters have distinct personalities. And I think it's honestly impressive I managed to do that, because like I said, it's almost kind of like short vignettes, because it's often like he interacts with the character and then he doesn't, they're just like not brought up again or something. Like they're just like short interactions, and in those like just like those short interactions, like those conversations, like most often it's like literally they like go to dinner or they get a drink and they talk. Like just that like is enough for like having that be enough for me to like understand the character. Like that's impressive, and without it like being unnatural. Like it doesn't feel like stiff and like he's shoving like all this like information in your face. It, like feels like a natural conversation, and I just thought like that's impressive. Like honestly, McCarthy is like, I'm sorry for ever trying to like ever picking up a pen and like honestly that's how I feel. Okay. So like they're all very well characterized. As for whether or not I think they're like actually likable, because I feel like because pretty important. I don't really know how I feel. Okay, there's like some characters I like. Like there's this character named Shedden. I like him. He's called like Long John too, but his name is like Shedden. He's a pretty recurring character actually. I like him. I also like Bortman. I like Euler. Honestly, there's not like character I dislike. I don't dislike any of the characters. I actually like all of the characters. Or I feel like neutral about them. Like with Bobby, I don't like Bobby. Like honestly, I don't really feel anything about Bobby. He's just like there, but which honestly is kind of sounds like I'm like defeating my prior point. But like like he's such a character in action that I feel like that like my neutral feelings about him work for him instead of against him, which. Hi. Sorry for the awkward cutoff. I thought my dad came in, so my dad was still awake, so I'm just like filming it again at like a later time, and I'm pretty sure he's asleep now. Anyways, I don't really remember. I think I was talking about like something about like likable characters. Yeah, I was talking about like I feel kind of neutral about all the characters, and like that leads me to my next point. Okay, so basically everything from here on out is gonna be spoilers. Okay. So, actually, maybe not everything, but like there's definitely going to be spoilers. So, first of all, I would just like to talk about the overall like line motif of the passenger. So like a big complaint I see with like the bad reviews that it's boring and that it's like there's like nothing happening. Okay, but like I said, that ties into the main point. Okay, so the book is called The Passenger, right? And the passenger will like typically like what do you associate with the passenger? The passenger is following someone. They're like on board. They're not in control. They're not the driver. They're the passenger. And so like the question of like who is the 10th passenger? Is there actually a 10th passenger? Is Bobby just imagining? I don't know. Like maybe there is actually a 10th passenger. Maybe there isn't. But that's not really like important. It's not like actually relevant. It's not really like actually relevant to the story. But in my opinion, I think the passenger of this book is Bobby. I think like Bobby, like I said, this book is very much about like an action, like and you know, the passenger in action, Bobby's in action. He's kind of just like the passenger, I guess you could say he's the passenger of his grief. He's just kind of being led along on this path. He does a lot of like random things, like seemingly without explanation. And yeah, like that's just what I generally think, like what the passenger motif is. I've also seen like arguments that like the passenger is Alice or Alyssa. I'm pretty sure it's Alyssa. That she's a passenger of Bobby's. What the hell was that? That was embarrassing. Anyways, and she's the passenger of Bobby's mind. And I think that's an interesting theory. There's a lot in this book about like what is like reality and what isn't. Like, for example, Alyssa, she said she never writes down her math equations because while they're in her head, you can imagine that they're trying to solve the core of the universe, but when you write them down, they just become a tool. And I think that's like an interesting point for like that, like the theory that the passenger is like Alyssa in Bobby's memories, because she's not reality anymore. She's simply thought. She's simply a memory in his head, and like he said, he can't really like remember what he looks like, but he's still carrying her along in his head. So I think that's like a pretty cool argument. Yeah. Honestly, there's probably even more layers to this that I'm like missing here, but I don't know. I'm not a genius. Okay. What I think the overall argument of this, I guess like the basic gist, I don't really know what I would say is like the basic like I can tell there is like some sort of like lesson, but I can't really tell like where exactly he's trying to go with this. Or like I can't. Like there's definitely like motifs that stand out very strongly, like the passenger. If I had to give like an overarching like theme, I guess I'd probably say like it's about like the fragility of human existence and how what we perceive as reality shapes our life. There's a lot like of philosophical like yapping in that book. Honestly, he's pretentious. He's very pretentious, but he pulls it off. But I just say there's just a lot of stuff about like reality and what like is not reality and what is. If that makes sense. Now we're running into like spoilers land. So in case you can tell from like the first couple chapters, because I figured it out pretty quickly. The ones in italics, like the slanted font, that's Alyssa. Okay, like she has schizophrenia, and the thalassemia, I don't know, the kid. Okay, the kid is a hallucination, as is like everything else. I've seen people say that the kid is a reference to his other book, Blood Meridian, but I've never read Blood Meridian, so I don't know. But basically, like, I have questions. Okay, why didn't Bobby also see the kid? Like, that confused me. Like, okay, honestly, it didn't confuse me because it was like, I just thought he was like probably dreaming. Like, it's just a manifestation because he thinks about it so much. But then I was like, but then I've seen people be like, actually, like, I think it's all part of some bigger scheme. So honestly, I don't know. I kind of lost like my vibe and like my train of thought after I cut this video off. So I don't really know what else to say. I just think it's a really good book overall. It has a very unique writing style. I think the way it's executed is really good. The characterization is good. The motif of like the passenger and inaction, and the whole way he presented this interesting premise, but didn't act upon it. Instead, choosing to explore a different route. I think that was very like unique, and that's also very interesting. Okay, shut up. Anyways, that's just my basic thoughts. I would definitely recommend it. This is not a standalone. I actually checked this out because I thought it was a standalone. It's not. There's a second book that I'm reading now called Stella Maria's, which is like about more focused on his sister. Yeah, 5 out of 5 stars. Recommend. Please go read it. Bye.